Hello and welcome to Aldevron's ribbon cutting ceremony to officially open our expansion project here at our Madison, Wisconsin site. I am Ellen Schaefer, Senior Director of Marketing and Communications, and on behalf of our team everywhere, we're so glad you could join us. And as much as we wanted you here in person, we are happy that you're able to join us virtually. Now, Aldevron has clients around the globe, clients that are researching and developing solutions to the world's biggest health challenges, solutions that are going to benefit us all. And that was a driving force behind this expansion project, to support them and the patients they serve. We are excited to showcase the site. We're excited to introduce you to some of our team, and we are thrilled that a few biotech industry leaders are helping us make this ribbon cutting special. The first being Dr. Richard Moss, Senior Associate Dean for Basic Research, Biotechnology and Graduate Studies from the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health. Welcome, Dr. Moss.
Thank you very much. I am Rick Moss. I'm Senior Associate Dean for Basic Research, Biotechnology, and Graduate Studies at the UW School of Medicine and Public Health. And in this role, I have the very good fortune of working with biotech companies and pharma in the Madison area, regionally and nationally. I would say that today, the focus of the celebration on partnership is really very, very appropriate, as our relationship with Aldevron over time has evolved into a partnership that is not only collaborative, but very, very effective. We are, for example, really very grateful to Aldevron for its continuing support of our master's degree in biotechnology. I have to say that Aldevron offers unparalleled real-world educational opportunities for students in this program, but also for master's degree, PhD, and postdoc trainees in other programs across the campus. I'm very happy to share with you that ongoing conversations between the UW and Aldevron are really focused on expanding the learning opportunities for students at the UW in the health professions. These learning opportunities would be for those students who wish to become involved in biotech, biologics, and applied genetic medicine. Of course, the current pandemic, which is the very reason that we are here today virtually rather than in person, has highlighted the paramount importance of manufacturing and supply chains for everything from PPE to vaccine production. Our students are keenly aware of this, and Aldevron's ability to give them really what I would call a formative experience in heavy biomanufacturing and supply chain environments at this point in their development are key to their future evolution as leaders in this field. It is certainly the case, and you may have gotten this from what I've said already, that Aldevron and UW each speak the language of collaboration fluently. It's in the DNA of both organizations. I'll give you a couple of examples here. One in the Department of Industrial Engineering is a collaboration with Aldevron's quick response manufacturing team on biological manufacturing processes. Another in the Department of Biomedical Engineering is one in which the department, and specifically Chris Saha, has partnered with Aldevron on gene editing approaches to genetic medicine. I'm happy to say that we hope, and I believe that Aldevron shares this hope, that we will be able to expand our partnership in the near future to our program in advanced cellular therapies, really with the idea of moving these new therapies to cell therapy manufacturing. So we see these partnerships as a win for translating discoveries from the bench to the bedside. It's a win for learners, it's a win for researchers, and most importantly, it's a win for advancing the health of patients and the communities that all of us serve. And now I'm honored to introduce Aldevron CEO, Kevin Ballinger. Now, Kevin, like yours truly, is a native of the Midwest. And I will say that we are really very, very happy to welcome Kevin to lead Aldevron. Kevin joined Aldevron last July after 25 years with Boston Scientific, where he served as Executive Vice President and Global President of the Interventional Cardiology Division. This is a unit that had annual revenues of $3 billion and 2,000 employees worldwide, representing nearly 1/3 of Boston Scientific's total annual revenue. As a native of Minnesota, Kevin earned his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Michigan Technological University and his MBA from the University of Minnesota's Carlson School of Management. Kevin, thank you for bringing your energy and expertise to Aldevron and to the field of medical genetics. We are looking forward to working with you through collaboration and partnerships for years to come. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Moss, for that very kind introduction. And thank you for your continuing support of Aldevron, the work we do, and our full team. As Dr. Moss said, I'm Kevin Ballinger. I'm the CEO of Aldevron. And I joined Aldevron last summer, right in the thick of an unprecedented year. In what is no doubt one of the greatest global health challenges of our lifetime, we are witnessing science and innovation on full display. We are seeing amazing collaboration between industry, academia, and governments to rise up to the challenges the world is facing and meet them head on with resilience and tenacity. Dr. Moss said the collaboration is in Aldevron's DNA, and I couldn't agree more. It's actually one of our core values. And I'm proud of this team here in Madison. They focused on our clients and the patients they serve through this pandemic, and all while adding additional capacity and capabilities. It was that mindset of service and collaboration which drew us to Madison in the first place, a location that allowed us to fulfill our complete manufacture of DNA, RNA, and proteins, essentially the central dogma of molecular biology. And while our Fargo, North Dakota production facility was perfecting plasmid DNA and RNA, we were seeking to add protein production capability. And in 2019, our co-founders, John Ballantyne and Michael Chambers, went on a hunt for the best possible location and the best partner. And that was Madison and Tom Foti, who serves as our president of our protein business unit. Now, there are several compelling reasons why we invested in Madison site then and why we continue to invest today. Dr. Moss also highlighted the importance of partnership, the partnership between the University of Wisconsin and Aldevron. And although I have to admit, I'm a lifelong Minnesota Gopher fan, sorry, Dr. Moss, no denying that the University of Wisconsin has created a dynamic hub of biotech companies based on its amazing research capabilities and abundance of trained talent. The companies here in Research Park certainly are the beneficiary of all of that talent. We made the investment 10 years ago and doubled down on this site now because we see incredible return and endless possibilities, including in the following areas: scientific collaboration around gene editing, supply chain for cell therapy manufacturing, partnership on workforce development, and talent recruitment to help staff our growing team. Now, partnership with the UW Research Park continues to be an important factor as we further expand our manufacturing capacity and our development capability here in Madison. And our current location is in the heart of University Research Park, and we just recently signed a 10-year lease extension. And I look forward to the possibilities that will happen over the next 10 years right here. Now, for those of you that follow the field closely, you'll know that Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel Charpentier were awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2020 for discovering one of the genome editing's sharpest tools, CRISPR-Cas9. Researchers can use these tools to help patients in need, essentially changing the code of life. And no field arguably has evolved faster than gene editing, and the thousands of unmet medical conditions that were previously thought to be impossible to treat may now have a solution with CRISPR. We make CRISPR proteins like Cas9 right here at Aldevron, right here in Madison. And mRNA is obviously at the center of the global conversation as being a critical platform used in the current COVID vaccines, and IVT enzymes are an essential tool for creating mRNA. Those IVT enzymes that are supporting mRNA technology are also being made right here for research use in Madison. And later this year, we'll be making GMP IVT enzymes for clinical applications. And all of this will be supported by our pending ISO 13485 registration later this year. And we'll share more about that later in this event. Aldevron Madison also offers RNP services that help turn CRISPR reagents into therapies by using guide RNAs from the world's leading providers. And by the middle of this year, we'll be the only company in the world to launch RNP manufacturing service to ultimately provide GMP reagents to clients developing gene therapies. And the final and most important reason about why Madison is this team, seen here in a photo from our 10th anniversary celebration in 2019. It's a team that continues to grow, and we are attracting like-minded people who exude Aldevron's values to innovate and advance, to collaborate, to serve, and to make lives better. Now, Tom Foti is going to expand on this team, but I'm very proud of their efforts that they've put forth to help make this expansion possible. This new capacity in the expanded team will indeed make lives better. So cutting the ribbon on this expansion is more than just a ceremony. We are cutting the ribbon to declare that Aldevron is ready to support the future of possibilities, to support the ideas our clients have, and to solve some of the biggest health challenges in the world, to open the door to scientists who sit at our lab benches and partner with researchers that are saving lives. And we're cutting the ribbon today and unlocking the potential for tomorrow. And I'm really glad you could join us. Now, I'm grateful that I'm also the one that gets to introduce Lisa Johnson, the CEO of BioForward Wisconsin. BioForward is an amazing partner and a big reason for why we continue to invest in Madison. BioForward is the collective voice of Wisconsin's biohealth industry, and its mission is to grow Wisconsin's biohealth companies and unite the industry to develop integrated health solutions that define the future of healthcare. They have been a great partner throughout our history, and we couldn't have a louder cheerleader than Lisa Johnson. She has a passion for building. Lisa, a big welcome to you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you for Aldevron's commitment and investment into your Wisconsin-based protein business unit. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Johnson, CEO of BioForward Wisconsin. BioForward is proud to serve as Wisconsin's member-driven biohealth association that is focused on advocating for our industry through legislative actions as well as through collaborations and marketing our industry and research institutions' strengths throughout the world. We recognize for our companies to continue their success and expand here, we need to retain and attract talent. And BioForward is committed to this charge through our national talent campaign, as well as our ongoing investment into our state's nonprofit organizations that are instrumental in providing youth STEM education programs and health and wellness programs to our communities. We know these investments now will bring positive returns in the future. You can find more information about all of our activities on the BioForward website. And now I turn to giving you an introduction to Tom Foti, who is president of Aldevron's protein business unit. Tom and I go back almost 30 years, which is incredible how time flies by. I'm not surprised by Aldevron's success in Madison. Tom believes in teams. His successful basketball career taught him far more than playing basketball. He embraced teamwork, how to compete, determination, and be a leader to a team that builds a winning program. Tom also believes that a company or an individual is not an island on its own, but rather part of a chain, that we're all connected as a community and must uplift that entire community for all of us to be successful. We are all proud of Aldevron's growth, their company culture, and how they are focused on collaborating with others in our community to lead us to a better future. Congratulations on this expansion. I'm happy I could be part of this celebration. Now I'd like to introduce Tom Foti, President of Aldevron's Protein Business Unit.
Thank you, Lisa, for that kind introduction. It's so great to see you and all your positive energy. And thank you also for your strong leadership of the BioForward organization across the state of Wisconsin. I want to welcome everyone today and who's attending virtually. We very much appreciate your support, and we hope that you enjoy our program today. In 1992, Bob Merendorf and Lisa Johnson offered me my first job out of college, working as a scientist at Novogen. I learned a lot of lessons in those early days at Novogen. A couple of them I wanted to share with you. One is to be scientifically excellent. 2, intentionally build your culture. And 3, listen to your clients. Flash forward to 2009, and I was provided another opportunity when Michael Chambers and John Ballantyne believed in a dream to build a protein business unit in Madison, Wisconsin. I will be forever grateful to Bob, Lisa, Michael, and John for providing me an opportunity to be a part of an innovative, fast, and growing company and share those experiences, making breakthroughs with people for years to come. In my current work, I'm very motivated to provide a similar opportunity for Aldevron employees today, in hopes that their experiences here will be transformative and ignite their careers for years to come. For today's talk, I want to focus on one of my favorite topics, developing high-performing teams. And when you look at this graphic, it's a simple concept. However, it's difficult to execute on this reinforcing loop in real-life business. However, if you can get the momentum going with a talented team in an emerging market, this leads to growth, creates amazing opportunities, and results in making a big impact in the world. First, I want to talk about growth, which is made possible by high-performing teams. This is a topic that I'm passionate about, and Lisa alluded to it in the intro. I learned a lot about high-performing teams playing college basketball at North Dakota State, and also a lot of coaching through previous years. When you get a group of people that are talented, motivated, team-oriented, with shared goals, you have the opportunity to make big things happen. So what are the elements of a high-performing team? A group of people that can consistently deliver excellent results over a long period of time. There is no substitute for talent. People with differentiating talent often attract other talented people. And I like to use the phrase, talent finds opportunity. So we need to create those opportunities at Aldevron to retain talented team members, but talent isn't the whole story. A shared mission is also critical. Mission creates motivation. Mission creates alignment and a sense of purpose. Kevin mentioned how proud he is of Aldevron employees and how the team stepped up, supporting many COVID programs, but also other client programs in genetic medicine over the previous year. I couldn't agree with him more. The third element that management needs to provide is resources. And this is why this building expansion project and our ribbon cutting today has been so energizing to our team. Beautiful labs, collaborative workspaces with natural lighting, ergonomically friendly working environment. This is all very motivating to our team. Our talented people that are mission aligned, engaged, and well-resourced can truly change the world for the better. In this next slide, I'd like to connect the concept of growth with opportunity. When you have a culture of performance, growth is sustainable. Our culture is very important. It starts with connecting with people in a real way. Simple things like good morning when you come into the office brings positive energy and sets the tone for the day. Our culture is built on 3 pillars. First is performance. We have a merit-based approach to rewarding and recognizing people. Second is continuous learning, which fuels our drive for continuous improvement. And third, we make a special effort to make sure people know that we care about them. Life can be challenging at times, and it's important to have the human connection with all of our team members. This culture of performance has resulted in doubling our sales in the last couple of years, and we've promoted over 20 people since 2018. In 2021, we want to double our sales, and our staff will likely increase roughly by 40%. Those are big things that we want to achieve together. Now I want to transition and talk a little bit about growth and opportunity and how that creates impact at Aldevron. First of all, we want to make an impact with patients, their families, and in the upcoming video, you'll hear Hyun Young talk about when you help patients, you not only help a patient, but you help a whole community, their family, their friends. CRISPR has opened up a world of possibilities to cure people. We have major programs at Aldevron focused on developing GMP gene editing reagents to our clients so that they are enabled to make therapeutic breakthroughs and cure patients. We want to make an impact for our employees. We want them to feel supported, appreciated, and invest in their professional development. This picture on the slide of Aubrey Howerton is a young scientist at Aldevron who posted this picture on LinkedIn that she received from her mom just recently, showing a little girl in a lab coat and how proud she is to be a scientist at Aldevron. This is impact we are hoping to make. To Aubrey's mom, if you're listening in today, I wanted to let you know that your daughter is making a huge impact at Aldevron. This expansion is about scaling operations, which we are very excited about. However, it doesn't matter the size of our lab or the size of our fermenters if you cannot scale trust. Trust with our clients in knowing we will be able to deliver high quality material on time. So a focus of the team in the coming months will continue to be scaling our operations and our systems and our processes along with capacity. This will be the way that we can make a huge impact on this rapidly evolving field of genetic medicine. If you're interested in making a big impact with your career and you're watching this live, scroll down to the bottom of the aldevron.com ribbon cutting page to find some of the department leaders listed on the page. We would be honored to meet with you to discuss your career goals and tell you more about upcoming events and opportunities at Aldevron. With that, I'm very excited to show you a video from the team showcasing what it looks like to work inside of a mission-driven company like Aldevron.
I'm Katie Rogers.
Brian King.
Aubrey Howerton.
유한영입니다.
Max Selman.
Rick Ranzinski.
David Valenza.
Jacqueline Rodriguez.
My name's Tom Foti, president of the Protein Business Unit. At the heart of Aldevron, we're a science company and we're trying to solve science problems. We're at an amazing inflection point relative to this new term that we use called genetic medicine. And we're producing the raw materials that allow our clients to make the therapies that are groundbreaking.
I think we're heading into a new era of medicine. The way that cell and gene therapy is working nowadays with the patients, it's really going to change the way medicine is done.
Personalized medicine is a big part of it. That's going to be just the norm.
We're solving some really tough medical challenges, and even better when they say they're using Aldevron components to do it. It's just super validating, super fulfilling.
We have been fortunate to grow and expand several times, not only in Fargo, but also in Madison. We're very excited about continuing to expand our operation. My main job, I see it, is to develop high-performing teams. The magic happens when you can get talented people that come together, that have good chemistry and support each other.
This willingness to collaborate, that true teamwork environment is great. Like this feeling that somebody's got your back. Like we all have our own job to do here every day. And, something that we are responsible for, but it's not all on your shoulders. You've always got somebody who's got your back, and it's every time, like every single time, there's always someone there to back you up.
The culture only works if you're here to help. The culture is one thing, but doing this kind of science for people is another. And I think that this ties into how powerful our company is right now, where we help people and we're good at it. And then we have like a family backing of like everybody in this company.
We always considered our patient is my family, and especially as my family have some history about cancer. So some of the biologic or the drug for the cancer patients, I consider this one maybe can be used for my family.
It's a great place to work because of the opportunities it presents you. You're empowered to basically take your career where you want it to. The parts are there, you have to assemble it yourself, but there's encouragement, there's initiative, there's opportunity.
I've really had every opportunity to succeed here, and I'm very grateful for it. We're a small group, we've got big goals. You know, anyone who's willing to grab an oar and row is gonna find all sorts of opportunities here. I look for somebody who is interested in serving others, regardless of if you're actually dealing with the clients or if you're in the lab making the products that we deliver. You need to be coming at it with the sense that the reason you're doing this is to help someone else achieve a really important goal.
Everybody has a voice. I keep getting reminded by my teammates and my managers that they want to hear what I have to say, which is really refreshing.
I feel like I learn a lot here, and I love that. I'm a lifetime learner, I suppose you could say. And so I love that I get to do that effortlessly in my day-to-day just because my colleagues are so knowledgeable themselves.
It's something that when you have a very good culture between coworkers and colleagues, they become your friends. And you're so excited to see them when you go to work, and it makes work so much fun.
There are so many studies that show that diversity is super important in high-performing teams. And there's a simple reason for that. People that are diverse can solve problems quicker.
There's a lot of diverse backgrounds, experiences, ages that sort of melds it into a quilt of sorts that basically makes it unique, makes it work.
People come from all over the world to work here, and it's important to see like the world that surrounds you in your company that you're able to work for.
We all build upon each other, so everybody has a different background and a different perspective, and we learn from each other. We always grab a little piece of advice from each other, and that makes the dream team.
I think that everybody here is like super quirky and fun. Everybody is like eclectic here, and it's like in a good way, eclectic in a good way. But I think everybody has so many interests, and that's so fun to see.
Everybody has these very interesting hobbies and other interests just because they're curious people. So, you know, we've got people that brew beer and people that garden and, you know, somebody who specializes in mosses. You know, it's so interesting.
It's an incredible time to be here because it is really a thriving, young, mature company.
It is amazing to be at Aldevron at this time.
This kind of thinking is really important. Someone who uses this medicine or drug will change his or her life entirely. Not only just the person, but also changes the family or relative. So all of our work for the patient first.
Every day is going to be different, and every day is a day to make an impact, and you never know what new opportunity is going to knock on your door and how you can help.
I have seen that video dozens of times, and it still continues to inspire me. Now, if you are looking for a rewarding career at a mission-driven company where every day you are making a difference, go to aldevron.com/careers to view all of our opportunities. Next, we're going to welcome Tom Foti and Ken Bonnell, our Vice President of Quality and Regulatory Affairs, for an exciting announcement. Take it away, guys.
Hello, it's great to be back here and make an announcement for a super important strategic priority that we have in 2021. We're going to be launching ISO 13485 at our facility here in Madison. And our business model is to grow our business both in research grade, in the diagnostic space, and in the clinical space. And we had a gap in our portfolio as it relates to our quality program, being able to serve the diagnostic space. So I'm partnering with a couple of my colleagues. So Ken Bonnell, who's the Vice President of Quality and Regulatory. It's great that he could be here today to share with me. And so, Ken, maybe I can pass it over to you and you can talk a little bit about how we're going to launch this program in Madison in 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Tom. So the first thing I want to mention is that ISO 1345 is important for our future, and the reason is because the ISO 1345 is one of these standards that the FDA contributes to. They help write the standard. So it's really important for our GMP compliance. It puts us on the right path. And the FDA has actually issued a few documents recently that articulates the importance of 1345 registration from their perspective. In terms of our next steps, we've already secured our registration, our pending registration letter. We secured that yesterday. And then the steps that we're taking to be fully compliant and secure the registration document itself is we're executing some validation. That's actually starting next week to kind of fill in some self-identified gaps. We're optimizing and approving some procedures, ISO compliant quality manual. We've scheduled a pre-audit for March, and really what that does is confirm that we've remediated all the gaps that we've self-identified, and then the certification registration or audit is actually scheduled the May-June timeframe. We're still locking in that date. Again, the importance from not just a regulatory and compliance perspective, but it's important from a client perspective as well, because the way that the ISO system and standard is designed, it's designed to improve client satisfaction. It fosters an environment of continuous process improvement. It improves decision making and enhances turnaround time, and it just gives us better employee engagement. So again, this is a significant effort, it's a significant milestone. So I want to just close by thanking Tom for his unwavering effort and support.
Thank you so much, Ken. And it's great to partner with you on this project, along with Peg Cobbs here, our Senior Manager of Quality Assurance in Madison. Now, I'd like to introduce Dr. Matthew Porteus. We are very grateful and honored that he is a part of our program today. Dr. Matthew Porteus is a key opinion leader in the world in the area of gene editing. We've been able to work with him for over a number of years, and I feel like we truly have a partnership with him. Working with Matt is a good example of how our business model works. We are able to partner with him on the research grade side to make sure that the proof of concept of his gene editing experiments worked. Then we are able to provide GMP source material for him, gene editing enzymes, as he moved to clinical validation studies. And we're super excited that he was able to file an IND with Aldevron's SP SPY-5 Cas9 nuclease. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Matthew Porteus. Thank you so much for the partnership, Matt.
Hello, and thank you for the invitation to speak at this very exciting occasion and the opening of a new facility in Madison, Wisconsin by Aldevron. And I show in the upper right corner an image I pulled off the internet of what the new facility looks like on the inside. And I hope one day I'll be able to see it in person. And I'll note that you're listening to this talk on the 10th of February, but I'm giving this talk on the 28th of January, demonstrating that this pandemic has not only totally disrupted our lives, but has also disrupted the time-space continuum. And the title of my talk is Translation of Genome Editing by Gene Correction and the Importance of the Supply Chain. So I have several potential conflicts of interest. The one I want to highlight is that I've been a recent founder of a new biotech company called Graphite Bio, and the importance of this I will get to later on in my talk. So in the 1970s, several number of different people described how one might be able to use genetic therapies to cure genetic diseases. And the possibility of doing this was described by Ted Friedman and Richard Roblin in an article in Science in 1972. And then in 1978, my former postdoctoral mentor, David Baltimore, described in an elegant paragraph how there are many patients who suffer from genetic diseases of the blood, brain, and other organ systems. And he wrote that it would be a triumph for medicine if we could counteract the genetic effects of these mutations. And one of the ways he proposed that we could counter those effects would be to what we would now call gene correction by gene editing of the mutations. And it's now been over 40 years since he wrote that paragraph, but we are now entering the clinic with such therapies. And the process that's entering the clinic is based on gene editing using engineered nucleases, in which a nuclease is designed to recognize a specific target site. A break is created in the genome at the engineered nuclease target site. That break is either repaired by non-homologous end joining in a mutagenic fashion, which allows you to create mutations in the genome at a specific location, or one can harness the recombination pathway by providing a donor DNA and allow you to create single nucleotide changes or insert large cassettes of genes at a precise location in the genome. And of course, this is a way one could genetically correct disease-causing mutations. So I'm going to focus on the left-hand side here, how we're going to use recombination-based editing to directly make single nucleotide changes. The process that we use is an ex vivo process in which we purify our cell of interest. In this case, we purify hematopoietic stem and progenitor cells. We put them into culture, and then we deliver via electroporation a CRISPR-Cas9 ribonucleoprotein complex, in which a purified Cas9 protein is complexed to a synthetic guide molecule, and that is introduced into the cells via electroporation. Immediately following the electroporation, we add an AAV6 virus that contains the donor template that the recombination machinery can use. And this process in the ex vivo setting has been highly efficient in a broad range of primary human therapeutically relevant cell types. So the disease I want to focus on in this short talk is sickle cell anemia or sickle cell disease. This is a disease in which every patient has a single nucleotide change in the beta globin gene, converting with an adenine being changed to a thymidine. This causes a single amino acid change with a valine replacing a glutamic acid. This causes the hemoglobin molecule to behave inappropriately in the deoxygenated state, creating polymers of the hemoglobin molecule, leading to red blood cells adopting this sickle cell shape, giving the disease its name. These sickle red blood cells include blood vessels and cause strokes, pain, kidney damage, lung damage, and lead to a median lifespan in the U.S. of the mid-40s. But in Africa, where hundreds of thousands of patients are born per year with this disease, the median lifespan is only 5 years of age. So we, a large team of people at Stanford, including Annalisa, Rasmus, Danny, and Job, among many others, have shown that when we use the RNP AAV6 system I just described, and we can genetically correct the sickle cell disease-causing mutation in 60 to 70% of the alleles in CD34 hematopoietic stem and progenitor cells from different sickle cell disease patients. This is far above the therapeutically relevant threshold of 15%. We've shown when we take those genetically corrected CD34 cells from sickle cell disease patients and convert them into red blood cells, they now, instead of making the pathologic hemoglobin S, now make essentially all of the non-pathologic hemoglobin A. What we know is if we can keep the hemoglobin A level above 60%, the patient is basically hematologically cured of their disease. We have recently were able to publish a manuscript showing that we could apply the same technique to a genetically engineered mouse that has the human sickle cell hemoglobin genes. And what we showed is that while the allele correction frequency in the mouse cells is not as high as what we achieve in human cells, that following engraftment of the mouse HSCs, we retain engraftment across myeloid lineages and the lymphoid lineages. And moreover, in the erythroid lineage, we see a selective enrichment of the genetically corrected red blood cells over the stem cells, again demonstrating that this has a strong or a good possibility of helping or even curing patients. So those are all laboratory scale experiments. To move into the clinic, we had to scale up the process. And here I show that in our GMP facility, we were able to scale up the process to several hundred million cells and retain our gene correction frequency on the order of 50 to 60%, again, above the 15 to 20% level that is thought to be necessary. And we recently filed an IND with the FDA proposing a clinical trial be started, a phase 1/2 clinical trial be started to treat sickle cell disease patients with the process I just outlined. And Graphite Bio, the company I mentioned earlier, has now licensed the program and will be the sponsor of the clinical trial, which we hope will be enrolling patients in the spring of this year. What I want to highlight, though, is the importance of high-quality reagents through all of the stages of this translational path. And so we used a high-fidelity Cas9, a guide RNA, plasmid that's needed to make our AAV6, and then, of course, AAV6. And in the discovery phase, of course, we could use research-grade reagents of all of these, including reagents that were made in our own lab. But as we moved along the process, the quality and analytics of each reagent had to be increased. And so, for example, the plasmid we used to make the GMP-like AAV came from Aldevron, could be research grade. However, when we start our clinical trial, the plasmid that we used to make our AAV6 was, again, made by Aldevron, but had to be of GMP grade. Similarly, the high-fidelity Cas9, it can be GMP sourced for a phase 1 trial, although we'll be using GMP grade Aldevron supplied high-fidelity or SPI-Fi Cas9 for the clinical trial I just described. So again, there's a gradation of the quality of the reagents that are needed as you move through the translational path. I will say that one might think that reagents could be limiting in this phase 1/2 trial, but one of the advantages of doing ex vivo genome editing is our reagent supply can actually be quite robust. We actually have enough GMP guide RNA and AAV6 to treat thousands of patients from a single GMP lot, which is quite different than what we know from lentiviral gene therapy or for AAV6 in vivo therapy. And to conclude, I'd just like to point out that the goal is not just to treat patients at my hospital or other high acuity hospitals around the country, but is to get these types of therapies to patients all around the world, including in Africa. And one of the barriers to that ability to get to patients all around the world is not only to develop manufacturing processes that are consistent with that, but to also develop a supply chain that is significantly cheaper. And I will note that the FDA requirement to make reagents GMP grade or good manufacturing practice grade adds 1 to 2 logs of cost to each of these reagents, even though they are analytically identical. And I throw this out here as a challenge to us in the field to solve this problem. And in the last 15 seconds, I would just like to thank you again for the opportunity to present our work, to thank the large number of people who have participated in translating this work from the lab, and a large number of funders who have supported this work. Again, thank you very much, and I look forward to our discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Porteus, for sharing that short but highly impactful glimpse into your work that has the possibility to change the lives of thousands of people, not just today, but for the rest of time. It is that promise of possibility that brings this team to our labs every day to fulfill our mission. Since its inception, Aldevron has remained true to its mission to improve lives through innovative partnerships and scientific excellence, and to make meaningful changes worldwide. And there is no one better to talk about our mission, our work, and why Madison than John Ballantyne, co-founder and chief scientific officer of Aldevron.
We had been seeing our footprint expand. If you think about the central dogma of molecular biology, DNA makes RNA makes protein, you know, that protein element was missing. And we knew that we could have more reach through with our clientele if we could play in that space as well. You know, Madison is rightly known around the world as a biotech hotspot. Madison's right up there, right? It's in that same sort of echelon. And the fact that there was a team out there ready to hit the ground running, it made it sort of a no-brainer. We've always been at heart a manufacturing company. We're probably now moving a little bit further along the D part of CDMO. And I think in another 10 years' time, if people are saying the group in Madison was still able to collaborate with researchers doing onesie-twosie, one-offs, etc., right, to support that part of the industry, which is the lifeblood of opportunity. But at the same time, they got brand recognition for RNP capabilities, for IVT enzymes, for specialized cutters, things like that, off-the-shelf things that are a different sort of part of the industry, but inextricably linked to that initial input, because it's oftentimes through collaboration with other groups that you end up with value-add, high-end products that are greatly enabling. And the ability to transition those into a clinical manufacturing environment, there's a real skill to that. There is an art in that tech transfer. So I think the art around making those things and doing it very well and working with the first movers, that can set you apart. The year that I foresee for Madison upcoming is sort of vindication. It's validation of all of the stuff they've done, the reputation they have, the connections they have, the ability to execute. All of these things lead to those future great opportunities. You don't just show up at the finish line, right? It's a lot of rigor that goes into building out systems, especially with the complexity of proteins. There are some really great tailwinds out there now with gene editing enzymes, with the demand for IVT enzymes, and then the capabilities in the RNP space for guiding for gene editing. It's very exciting what their ramp up is going to look like out there.
Well, that was really cool. I'm Aaron Olver. I'm the managing director at University Research Park. University Research Park is a nonprofit that's affiliated with the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And our mission is to create neighborhoods where innovation can flourish. With more than 4,000 people working at about 125 companies in 2 million square feet, the community at University Research Park is advancing some of the most important technologies and innovations that'll save and improve lives all over the globe. When I first came to University Research Park, Tom Foti recommended a book to me that he was reading with his team. It was called Where Good Ideas Come From by Stephen Johnson. One of the concepts in that book that influenced me a lot and influenced my strategy for leading University Research Park forward was the idea of a liquid network. Tom and I talk about this all the time, but it's been in the back of my mind as I've thought about how we can strengthen University Research Park and build community to help make our world more innovative here at the Research Park. What makes our work meaningful is the value that companies like Aldevron are creating here in the park. I watched Aldevron partner with researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, with other companies at the park, and with partners from all over the globe. And it's these partnerships that are really the hallmark, not only of the Liquid Network, but that are at the very center of Aldevron's business model. So with a newly expanded capacity here at the park, I know Aldevron's going to be able to find new partnerships and new opportunities to push the boundaries of science even further. I can't wait to see all the good ideas that result. Now I'll hand it over to Katie Rogers from Aldevron to talk about the expansion of the Madison facility.
Hello, I'm Katie Rogers, and I'm the Senior Manager of Upstream Processing here at Aldevron Madison. I'm so excited to share an inside look at our expansion and how it can help us to continue to serve our clients. For more than a decade, the Protein Business Unit has operated out of various facilities within the University Research Park. We've been a proud partner to the University Research Park since the very beginning, as you can see in this shot of our founding team back in 2009. We are proud to call the Research Park home now and for the foreseeable future as we continue to grow here in the Madison area. Over the past year or so, we've been fortunate to work with Findorf to more than triple our footprint from 8,000 square feet all the way up to 26,000 square feet. More than 3,500 square feet of that space is dedicated to our fermentation suite. Our fermentation suite can support gene and cell therapy studies that require large amounts of plasmid DNA, protein, or gene editing enzymes. We have reactors ranging from 1 liter in our DOS skip reactors all the way up to our 1,000-liter stainless steel tank. These new capabilities in fermentation really expand the scope and scale of the projects that we are able to do to support the crucial work of our clients. As you can see from this list alone, we've added a lot of equipment to support the fermentation function. Another major part of our expansion is our main lab space, where all of our downstream activities take place. We now have larger and more functional spaces to perform our buffer prep, our cell lysis, our protein purification, and our quality control activities. With this larger space, we've been able to add more scientists to do the work and, of course, more equipment for them to do that work on. This has actually helped us increase our capacity to be able to serve more clients. During this time, we've also built out a stronger technical operations program to help us improve our processes and increase the consistency of yield and quality from batch to batch. These improvements, along with the ISO 13485 certification that Ken had mentioned earlier, really helps us to better serve our clients overall, and especially the diagnostic market. Now, before we move on to the ribbon cutting, I do want to touch on our expanded and renovated office areas, the break rooms, and our conference rooms. Having a great space to work in really does make a difference to coming into work every day and doing that work. Now we have these amazing, bright, vibrant spaces. You can see those pops of colors in the pictures there, where we can work or engage in conversations with our coworkers and with new applicants or even clients who come to visit. It's really a great environment to work in. It is now my pleasure to kick off the countdown to the ribbon cutting. I hope everybody's ready. Let it roll.
Thank you so much for attending our special event today. I'd like to thank all the speakers who were a part of our program today. I wanted to give a special thank you to Michael Chambers and John Ballantyne for believing in us 11 years ago when we started the protein business unit here in Madison. But most of all, I want to thank our employees, both in Fargo and in Madison, who've done so much to help make this day a reality for us. So thank you so much. Have an excellent day.